Congressman Buddy Carter. Buddy Carter, Republican from Georgia, joins me now. All right, Congressman, what are you hearing from voters there? I'd be interested.
Well, first of all, they're excited. They're excited about Herschel Walker's candidacy. They're getting out. My wife waited 2.5 hours in line to vote in early voting. And if you look at the numbers, our early voting numbers in the state of Georgia, they are breaking records. Even in this runoff, it's just phenomenal. And that's thanks to the Georgia State Legislature implementing the Election Integrity Act, which gave people confidence in our voting system again. We learned some important lessons in this last Senate runoff almost 2 years ago, and that is if we don't get our people out, we're not going to win. And I think that both parties understand that a runoff is nothing more than who can get their voters out. And people are highly interested in this race. They understand the stakes are high and what is at risk here.
You know, the Democrats already have control. Our Republicans already have control of the House. The Democrats have the Senate. Why is this race important?
Well, it's important that we have a 50-50 split in the Senate for a couple of reasons. First of all, as we've witnessed over the last 2 years, the committee assignments, having an evenly divided committee is very important. Secondly, ask yourself, if you're a conservative, who would you rather have calling the shots in the Senate? Chuck Schumer or Joe Manchin? At least with Joe Manchin, we have a chance, and that's important. So if we can have a 50-50 split, then Joe Manchin carries a lot of weight over there. And he's a reasonable person who we can work with. Chuck Schumer, unfortunately, is not.
Last one for you, Congressman. President Biden finally admitting the problems with his Inflation Reduction Act. Listen to this. I'll get your thoughts.
Look, the United States makes no apology, and I make no apology since I wrote it for the legislation you're talking about. But there are occasions when you write a massive piece of legislation, and that has almost $368 billion for the largest investment in climate change of all of history. And so there's obviously going to be glitches in it.
Well, at least he's admitting mistakes, right, Congressman?
And there are plenty to admit in the Inflation Reduction Act, not the least of which, and being a pharmacist, I have to mention the prescription drug portion of this was just simply awful. CBO told us that that portion of this bill is going to result in 15 fewer cures coming to market over the next 30 years as a result of this policy. Hopefully we can turn that back in the next Congress. It needs to be turned back. We have to have research and development. But the inflation that this has caused, it's Inflation Reduction Act, it's an Inflation Acceleration Act is what it is.
Congressman Buddy Carter, great stuff as always, Congressman. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Still ahead.